We're going to be talking about body based mindfulness techniques that help you get back in touch with your body, that begin to help you get in touch with your feelings and your emotions. This is really especially important for people who have um are experiencing like that feeling of disconnect, or they're not feeling very aware when they're having feelings and emotions. That does happen as a result sometimes of trauma and other things. So it is something that I do see quite a bit. On that note, there's very few people in the world who don't have emotions. I just want to kind of talk about that really quick. We kind of think about there's some personality types that don't really have emotions, but they actually really do. The volume is turned down really, really far. There's very, very, very few people in the world that actually don't have emotions. So it doesn't matter what your gender is, what you were born as, what you were raised or socialized as, whether you feel like you experience powerful emotions or not, you do have emotions. But through trauma and reinforcement and socialization, you can be programmed, whether you did it intentionally or not, or it was kind of done against your will a little bit through life, to not to be kind of disconnected and not feel and be extremely suppressed. And then the very furthest, um, I think, iteration of that would be to be experiencing what some people call disassociation, or just a complete cut off of their feelings. Now, for a lot of women that I see and work with, we are socialized really to have the volume turned up on our feelings a lot of the time. And so we don't typically experience a lot of separation from our emotions unless we've experienced a lot of difficulty, or little t trauma or big T trauma, because whenever a person, male or female, experiences something that is overwhelming to their nervous system, what happens is the nervous system kind of like, there's a circuit breaker, and it flips and it kind of cuts off sensation. It can cut off physical sensation and emotions because they're just so overwhelming. And so it can happen with one event, or it can happen and get worse over time depending on all sorts of things. So here we are at a point where, if you are the kind of person where you are not experiencing the emotions that you have, this is really not good for you, because what ends up happening is when we're cut off from the negative, we're often also cut off from the positive. You can't have it both ways. It's not good for you to be cut off from your feelings. You're having half of the sensations that you deserve in your life. So, today we are going to be talking about like trying to use techniques that encourage our mind and our body to become connected. So I hope that at the end here you have some tools that you can use, and it it is not a one-time deal. It is something that you get better at over time. When I have clients come in and I start teaching them about their emotional operating system, even women often say, "Well, I don't really know what I feel." And I say, "That's okay. You'll get better as you practice over time." So this is not, if we had to reinforce, the suppression of the feeling, it's going to take practice to start releasing it, letting out, or just feeling connected. So wherever you are on your journey of being reconnected with your emotions, take heart that practice makes it easier. So if it's difficult or you feel like there's not much going on, don't worry about it. Just keep going. You can heal, and you can improve and get better and more connected. You can experience wholeness again. So we're going to try three different techniques today. Um, and there's a few tips that I have If you have pen and paper with you, you might want to write these down. These are kind of like universal things that I always want you to do. And if you can, make sure you're doing them today, when you're practicing as I'm leading us through these techniques. So first, be comfortable, always be in a comfortable position. Um, a lot of times when I instruct people to do self-hypnosis, and mindfulness techniques, the best thing to do is make sure you have the ability to mostly semi recline. Now, you don't have to semi recline. You don't have to be like have your head supported in the minimum of a big executive chair where you can tip your head back. But it does help because the less you have to focus on holding your body up, the more you can focus on what else you're trying to do. So be comfortable. If that means lying on the floor for you, great. If it means just sitting up in a chair like mine where you can't sit back, that's also okay. Whatever works best for you. If you're trying to do this at work or in the bathroom, sometimes I tell people just do it every time you go to the bathroom. You're already sitting down. You can't, if you become good at it, you can do it anywhere. But especially if you're first getting started, try and find a really comfortable position. Don't cross your legs or cross your arms. Try to be kind of symmetrical in your position. Also, when it comes to any kind of work I do with anybody or especially mindfulness, I want to encourage you that everything we do is done with compassion and non judgmental viewpoints to ourselves. Whether we are experiencing anger or pain or we're not getting very much, I want you to take a very loving and compassionate and non judgmental view because anybody who'd gone through what you'd gone through would feel the same and struggle the same. What you are going through, I want you to validate your own experience. And so look at yourself in a non judgmental way. Don't be frustrated with your lack of progress. Understand that where you are is a result of what happened and that you are now taking back control and you are moving forward and you're going to accept your ability to heal and grow at the rate that you can heal and grow and that it's right for you. Um, and if you ever really find yourself, especially if it's something that maybe I'm guiding you through or you are remembering, if you ever find yourself like getting off track, you get distracted by a thought or something, don't worry about it. Just always bring yourself back as soon as you can and accept that sometimes minds do wander and that it's very normal to have other thoughts or additional thoughts when you do stuff like this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just a deep breathing exercise. So we're going to go from I hope simple to a little bit more advanced. So deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. If you are at all into yoga or Pilates, or if you're a singer, you're familiar with diaphragmatic breathing. There are just so many health benefits to this kind of deep breathing exercise. I don't even have time to get into it, but essentially, a deep, deep breath where you expand your lower abdomen is the correct way of breathing. That's how you're supposed to breathe. Your shoulders are not supposed to go up and down. When you take a belly breath, it should be your belly going in and out. So when you breathe in, it should expand because your diaphragm is right here below your lungs and it's pulling down. It's actually contracting and it pulls open your lungs and it should push your belly out. And that's how your lungs inflate. And then when you relax it, it gently moves back up and it squeezes those lungs back in and we exhale. And so remember that as you're breathing, if you have not ever learned how to breathe with your diaphragm, it's actually helpful to put your hand or hands on that area of your diaphragm. So right below your rib cage is where your diaphragm is and it pulls down. And so you can put your hand on, just right there below your ribs or down a little lower on your waist, whatever feels comfortable for you, to help you focus your attention on pulling or gently pulling your tummy out as you breathe in. Okay, so by doing that, what you're doing is you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which is just a big way to say it's signaling to your body that you're safe and that you can relax. And so it doesn't have to be on guard and tense. So it releases a bunch of positive neurotransmitters in your brain, and it does a whole bunch of really great hormone. Well, those things trickle down into your body basically. It dilates your blood vessels, so that everything gets more oxygenated because you're taking in more oxygen. It's really, really good for you. So I've been talking very fast, I realize. And so now I'm almost out of breath. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice together. So I want you to sit back, wherever you are. Make sure your feet are nice and flat on the ground, not crossed. You can put your hands in your lap, or you can gently rest them on your tummy. If you'd like, you can also put one hand on your chest, and that'll be, it's a nice connection. Actually, pressing right here on your chest actually helps release oxytocin into your body. I can't remember why, but I remember that's why we hug people, because we're pressing our chests together and it releases that bonding hormone. So, if you'd like, you can put a hand on your chest, hand on your belly, and then I want you to just start taking a deep breath. You can do it in through your nose and out through your mouth, whatever feels comfortable for you right now. But make sure that your tummy is expanding when you take a nice deep breath in. Right now, I want you to just focus on your breath and see if you can make, for now, your breath even in and even out. And it's just going to be for a few minutes or a few moments, really. Also, breathe at your own pace. See if you can make your breath as silent as possible. And just see how that goes for you. Just nice, even breath in with your tummy coming out, and an even exhale, as silent as possible. And once you've done that a few times, if you'd like, you can close your eyes now too. That might help you focus if you haven't already. I am going to now help guide us through some really deep breaths. This is called the relaxation breath. This is that keep breathing normally until I give you instructions, but this is a relaxation breath that I like to teach all my clients. When you have an opportunity next, I want you to take a nice deep breath at your own rate, in for a count of 3, hold for a count of 3, and then out for 6, making sure to take a nice big deep belly breath. Don't go so slow that you become dizzy or disoriented. Go at your own rate. That nice deep breath should not be uncomfortable. It should not, your chest and your shoulders stay down, your tummy comes out, but it's not expanded so much that it is uncomfortable. So see if you can do about 3 of those. In for 3, hold for 3, and then relax out for 6. And notice that when you relax and exhale for 6, as you do that, it's going to begin releasing tension in your body. That really deep breath is signaling to your body that you can relax and that you're safe. Just keep breathing nice and relaxed. One more deep breath. All right, now, as soon as you can, as soon as you're done with that cycle, just return to normal breathing, relax. And I want you to just take your attention to your body. Just kind of like mentally assess how you're feeling. I forgot to have you assess before we did the breath, but you should feel that You are more relaxed than you were a few minutes ago. Just by taking your attention to your breath, your body automatically becomes more relaxed. And as we're talking about emotions, remember that emotions, when they're in the body, are what we call feelings. So, feelings are a sensation that we have that are connected to the emotion in our mind, the thought. So, if you can become aware of what your body feels like, at least we know that I feel different now. I feel better now. What does that feel like to feel more relaxed? When's the last time I was this relaxed? When, what now in juxtaposition, what does it feel like when you're tense? So we are going to start becoming more aware of tension in our body and the differences between relaxation and tension. And that will help us become more aware of both. So when we're doing this exercise, it's important to really focus on your body when you're done with your 4, 5, 6 deep breaths. Become aware of your body and just focus on how it feels different. Did you get a warm rush? It's just a tool that ever increasingly, when it's practiced regularly, will help you get more in touch.